What's up, everybody? It's me, Chalfie. I'm here with Delvin tonight. T's out in the streets kicking it with a homie. Sean plans to be on. Allegedly, he's at practice, but he also told me that he's turning Republican today because his taxes were causing an issue in his household. So he's got some other things going on. He said, what did he tell me today? He was saying some wild shit earlier. He said he's going to start using phrases like bootstraps and shit like that. I told him, I said he's going to start using fucking all lives or blue lives matter.
I hate to break it to you, Sean. They don't want us over there.
No, that's
only during times of election, and that's about it.
Exactly. And barely then. Barely.
They don't concede anything. They're like, you just come vote for us. Why? Just come vote for us.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna give us a reason?
You get no benefits, just saying. But Delvin and I were kind of catching up on some things because for those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, then you've really been hiding under a rock. But Delvin does like a ton of fucking podcasts. He has his regular show is Delvin Cox Experience. And then he's got a bunch of other like side project type of stuff. But he also does an interesting one that is like kind of has like a problematic title to me for some reason, but I can't really put my finger on it. It's called Boondocks.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's uncomfortable to say. And it also involves him and his son, which makes it even more uncomfortable. But tell people what you guys do on that show.
It's a Patreon exclusive podcast, but what I've been doing is kind of like, because my son likes to talk, he likes interacting with people. He likes to express himself in that. So I've been slowly, via Patreon, grooming him in the podcast ways, getting him good with that type of stuff. Because I think it'll be good for him. One, it helps him with his verbal skills. Mm-hmm. Helps him with his talking, helps him become more affluent. And two, more importantly, I think it's just good for him to express himself and find ways to express himself instead of doing all that other foolishness and stuff like that. So,
does it help people with their verbal skills? Because Fowler's been doing it for a while, and he keeps getting progressively worse. And now that fool wants to work for the enemy, I don't want to say who because I want to blow up his spot, but fuck my Fowler forever.
Facts.
Yep.
But it helps my son a lot with that. It also helps him express himself. So I do two Patreon exclusive podcasts with him. I do the Boondocks, which is a Boondocks review show where we go through each episode of the Boondocks. Because I've already seen all the Boondocks episodes. I was a big fan of the Boondocks when it was out. Can't wait for its revival whenever that's supposed to happen.
Oh, I was just about to say, you did hear that they officially shelved it.
Oh, come on. That sucks.
Yeah. When, I can't remember the actor's name, but once Grandpa passed and then Regina King going through her issues with like her passing of her son.
Oh, yeah.
And there was something else that occurred that they were like, you know what? Boondocks was already solid where it was. Maybe we don't need to force a revival. So, I believe it's like officially shelved.
Because there was a lot of stuff going on with that show's revival. I remember, I can't remember his name. Pop's son wanted to play Pops on the Boondocks show, and they wouldn't let him do it.
Really?
He was like, he sounds just like him. He looks just like him. I'm like, this kind of makes sense. Why don't you let him?
Is it Witherspoon?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. His son was campaigning to do the voice work for it for a while, so Pops could still be on the show.
Yeah.
At some point, they were trying to say that because to my knowledge, how they was going to handle that situation was they was going to kill Pops off. Mm-hmm. And Riley and Huey was going to move in with their grandma.
Okay.
Who's Pops' wife.
So just like flip the script a little.
Yes. And it was, I can't remember her name. She's a famous black actress who's in like every TV show as the mom. She's an older woman. No, not Jackie. I can't remember her name. Kind of like
Jackie would have been great. What the fuck you talking about?
She would have. I want to say she was on a different world at one point, like a teacher or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. But she's in all those type of shows. She was supposed to be their grandma, and they had it all worked out. And I don't know what happened. Like they just stopped talking about the show. I was super excited for it because I feel like out of all the shows they're reviving, the Boondocks is one that not only could work, but
Yeah.
it's actually needed.
Yes. Yeah. I would totally agree with you because like the commentary it would have, unlike a South Park, which just kind of like states the obvious, it's for like the bros. And we'll kind of even tie into like our what's up with that later. It stopped moving the needle a long time ago. And it's just kind of basically the thing it's making fun of. You
Yeah.
know? Whereas I think Boondocks is still very, very relevant and very cultural. I mean, even what fuck that show has been gone for what, like 15 years? 10
Yeah.
years? And it's like those episodes are they still fucking they hit. Like they're very much on point, relevant to this day.
Very much so. His name was John Witherspoon, by the way, because I want to make sure I get that right. But yeah, it's very much so relevant. It's crazy because you can watch a Boondocks episode from 10 years ago and then find it's like very relevant today. Like the R. Kelly one specifically. I watched that one with my son. He's like, oh, is this current? I'm like, no, this happened.
Is there an anthology of the comic strips?
I think there is.
Yeah, that might be something I need to own.
I think there is an omnibus of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, I almost bought one. But yeah, I highly recommend the comic series. And
what the fuck is an omnibus? Like a bus that's everywhere at the same time? Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Omnibus is just like a big graphic novel set of it that has all the volumes of it. Like they do it with a lot of comics. Like I have one of the Black Panther run that was written by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Oh shit!
Like that. Yeah, the first run.
Mm-hmm.
I have that in the omnibus, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's tight. I
have also the Falcon as Captain America. That run is an omnibus as well. Because Captain America is my favorite superhero, and that version of Captain America is probably my favorite version of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that, and I have a couple other things like that that are dope.
Is he Black Falcon or just Falcon? Because isn't there a superhero that is Black Falcon?
I'm trying to think. That one
DC. Is DC Black?
DC has a habit of naming all their black superheroes Black something.
Mm-hmm.
Like Black Lightning, Black Vulcan, I think his name is. Like all of them just have black in front of him. Like, okay, we can stop doing that. Yeah,
they didn't even try, huh?
Yeah. Marvel, generally speaking, doesn't really do that. They have Luke Cage, they have Black Panther, but Black Panther was named after the Black Panther movement. So that makes sense. Then you have Falcon, and you have DC Marvel generally speaking doesn't do that.
Yeah,
DC hasn't been great, even though they have great black superhero characters, especially now. They haven't necessarily been great historically with those characters.
I mean, they did also have a character called fucking Apache Chief.
Yes.
So.
It's wild. Speaking of racist shit in DC, it's wild. Have you watched Peacemaker?
I haven't yet. It's on my list to watch.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but they have a character in the show that was in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild that they got this character in the show. I never in my life would have thought they had this particular character. Well, basically, I'm not going to tell the character's name. Like, one, because I can't remember it right now, but two, because it's not important. The character is a white supremacist supervillain.
Oh, shit.
That's literally what he is. To the T. He hates black people. He hates all races.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, well, like I said, I want you to watch it, so I want to spoil who he is, but he's a white supremacist supervillain, and he plays a major part in the show.
Is the Peacemaker show similar at all in like the way it's like developed, shot, written to like the what was that? Was that Suicide Squad?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's similar because, and as much as people say like, oh, that movie was whack, I really fucking enjoyed it. I thought
that movie was
awesome.
Of fun.
It was so much fun.
Peacemaker's show, I kind of want to. I've been thinking about it a lot. It's probably DC's best shit right now, man. It's honestly speaking, I love it.
Well, I mean, it's also that's a fucking low bar. Like, I mean, it's like, I mean, their best shit is the fucking Harley Quinn animated. Like,
Yeah, that too. But the thing about Peacemaker is, and I think it's props to James Gunn. I know some people like James Gunn, some people don't. I think Fowler doesn't like James Gunn, if I'm correct. Is one, the world is so vibrant and colorful, but at the same time, is gritty, violent, and it has a lot of heart to it. Like the characters in the show have heart. This is probably John Cena's best role acting. Like he has so many layers in the show. I love it.
And that's why I think I liked the Suicide Squad movie is it felt like a cartoon or like a comic book brought to life.
Yes.
Where it wasn't like they were trying to reimagine. It was very cartoony and like they're over the top, you know? So it was just like, I felt like that really came through in this story, as opposed to like, we're pretending they're real people in a real world. I was like, no, this is supposed to be like out of the normal, you know?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a hyper reality. So I don't know. I really, really dug it. Did we get to see that Weasel guy again?
No, but I think they said that
because the Weasel guy's supposed to come back in something, right?
Yes. What they did say was other characters from the Suicide Squad movie are getting shows. Correct? Ratcatcher is getting a show.
Is that the Weasel?
That's the girl.
Well,
the girl who controlled all the rats.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
She's getting a show, so
I forgot about her.
I'm quite sure the Weasel guy probably would be in that.
Yeah.
And if I was a guess, I'd say Bloodsport probably would get a show or something like that.
Yeah. No, I think they could do a lot with it. So that'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, like I said, it's on my list of shows to watch. I actually just started watching that one animated show. What is it? Vox, is it Machina or Machina?
Machina, yeah.
Yeah, Machina. Yeah, I'm about 2 episodes in, and at first I thought like, oh, this is gonna be one of those cartoons where they try to just be over the top. But it's really fucking clever. Like I like it because it kind of, I think it recognizes what it is, so it's like it kind of gets its own humor in a sense, and I've kind of been enjoying it. But I also watch it like right before I'm gonna go to bed. So one episode is taking me like 4 days to watch because I keep passing out.
I experienced that today. I'm watching. I tried because I didn't know it was even out.
Mhm.
Cuphead's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I saw that last night. I haven't started watching it yet though. There's
So I
much to
start.
watch.
It's so much to watch. So I started watching episode 1, but I was so tired, man. I fell right to sleep.
Oh, have you watched that? I know the second season just like started recently. Have you ever watched that Raised by Wolves?
I watched the first episode
Okay.
and I found it boring,
Uh-huh.
so I didn't get back to it. But I was listening to Michael Aaron's reviews on it, and it kind of seems very positive about it. So I want to get back into it. But
Oh, go ahead.
I've also been watching Yellow Jackets because he recommended that as well. And I'm almost at the end of that, so I probably started after I finished in the Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets was brilliant. Like I really, really liked Yellow Jackets. And I think for people like our age or similar age range, there's a lot of like not ham-fisted, like hit you over the head nostalgia, but there's enough to be like, yeah, that was the look or that was the sound. Because I think they do a good job of balancing the current timeline with the past timeline, you know, and so it's not too convoluted.
Feels like Lost.
Oh, 100% feels like Lost, which
like early seasons of Lost.
When Lost was still like amazingly good.
Yes.
No, it definitely feels like that. But I was gonna say Raised by Wolves, I think it was like Fowler who talked about it a while back and was like saying like we should watch a show, and then I was like, that show's stupid. Because I did watch the first episode and I was like, they made this show off like $40 because these androids are just wearing those like fucking Party City like unitard outfits where it's just like one color, and like the backdrop, I think they just filmed it in the desert or someone's big ass backyard. Like there's no fucking set. It's just like piles of rocks. I was like,
100%.
You fools didn't try. The animation in there literally looks like it was done on Windows 98. Like you could see the clip art going across. And but then I watched the first episode and I was like, all right, it's interesting. And then once I started getting an idea, so I watched it when it first came out. I did not like the first episode.
I
couldn't even finish it. Then just within the last 2 weeks, I was like, let me just see what this is about. And then I got super fucking into it because it's like the Twilight Zone. It's a weird fucking show. It makes no goddamn sense. It's got these weird, like religious, political, like components to it. And then you got these androids raising like children, and I don't know, just crazy weird shit that happens in this show. So it was one of those things that was like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is the dumbest fucking show I've ever seen. And then it's like, are you still watching? Oh, yes, I am. 100% still watching. Because it's one of those things too where it's like, this can't get stupider. Oh shit, it did. It's, what I would put it on? Do you remember like the old Trauma films? Fucking
yes.
Toxic Avenger. Like, it's not campy like that, but it's like those movies were fascinating, but also really fucking stupid.
They were good and terrible.
Yes, and that's what this is. It's like it's like when the circle sort of meets on the opposite ends, where it's like, this is bad, this is good, and then it comes around where it's like, oh, this is where they meet, right over here.
Speaking of something that's bad and maybe good, did you see the trailer for that new Netflix show?
Which one?
The one that's made by Ali Shankar. Let me see if I can find the name of it. It's called The Guardians of Justice.
No.
You have to watch this trailer.
All right.
It looks ridiculous. I don't even know what it is. It's like a mix of a superhero show with an anime. The plot's crazy. And it's coming out like really soon.
Huh. Let me see. Okay, we're going to pause the show for a second while I watch this, because it's 1 minute long. Was going to watch it, but this bitch don't want to open.
Are we going to pause? We're going to actually pause the show? Or we're just going to...
Well, I'll edit the fucking minute out. The Guardians of Justice. I mean, it already looks bad, and that's just a still photo.
Yeah, it has a generic name. And it's just weird. Like, have you've heard of Ari Shankar before?
No.
I think he's done like a lot. I think he's well known for he did like this ultra violent version of Power Rangers, like a short that became like super popular on the internet because people thought it was gonna be a real Power Rangers movie.
Oh yeah.
He did that. He done some other stuff too. Trying to think what else he did
in the trailer. Man, it's giving me like some other bullshit. But I can see what you're talking about. Yes, this fucking show looks weird as hell.
Did you see it? The trailer? Let me see if I can find it. I have the trailer somewhere. I sent it to somebody earlier.
Guardians of Justice, right?
Yes. Somebody sent it to me, and I was like, "The fuck is this?" You found it? It doesn't look like it should make any sense.
Okay, so I just watched the trailer for Guardians of Justice. That is the most fucking Adult Swim show I've ever seen. Like, and I really enjoy like Adult Swim, and yeah, that's definitely one of their things. That's right up there with like, I don't understand, like the live action looked like it was all made out of cardboard costumes.
Yes.
The animation really was like less than 8-bit.
Yes.
Like one dude made this whole show. Like, I think one dude is probably acting all the characters and doing the voices too, because that show is terrible, but also like, yeah, I would watch that. All episodes.
let me give you some of the cast that's on the show.
All right.
Because some of these people are going to blow your mind.
Oh, because it's like real deal people, right?
Yeah. Denise Richards.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Milonakis. Jane Seymour, RJ Might, I think is how you pronounce it. That's the kid from what's the show?
Oh, yes.
Breaking Bad.
Uh-huh.
Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Christopher Judd, who was Kratos in God of War.
You left out Diamond Dallas Page.
I was just gonna say that. That is the wildest one.
What the
WCW legend Diamond Dallas Page, the master of the diamond cutter, is on this show.
Okay, just to put this together, did you ever think there would be a day when, and this is where I know somewhere in 2020 or like that whole Bernstein Bears thing, like something did happen, because I never thought there would be a day when Diamond Dallas Page and Jane Seymour would be on the same fucking show. Like what?
That is wild.
The creator of this show, he's got dirt on all these people.
He must have.
He's got dirt, where he was like, hey, remember I had that secret for you? Like when all you guys were hanging out? Check it out. Here's what's going to happen. You guys got to do my TV show.
I am super interested to see if it's any good. I am fascinated by this show because this looks horrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, totally.
It looks like it shouldn't work.
Yeah. Like it's got it's got Krang, aka fucking Squidbilly, in it. like,
yeah.
What the fuck, man? That's not a real show.
It doesn't look real.
No, people just go. Hopefully, I'll remember. I always have to put shit in the show notes, and then I always forget to. But hopefully, this time I remember to put a link to this Guardians of Justice, because it's another level of what the fuck. Like,
yeah,
this show was made for like 6 people. It's not made for like mass consumption. Like 0.
I'm super interested if it works.
Oh yeah, for sure. This will be one of those shows too it'll do what, like 5 episodes, but like 10 seasons. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, dude. But I guess to bring the whole conversation around, so yeah, Delvin does a show with his son.
Yeah. In short, I do a show with my son. I do 2 shows with my son, actually. Yeah. Like Boonecocks, and I do D&D podcast. Yeah, where we talk about all kind of stuff that matters to him. Like we're probably doing one soon, talking about the Uncharted movie and stuff like that. So we talk about pop culture. We talk about hip hop. Oh, I can tell this story on here that I think is gonna be really cool, that you'll like. Okay.
I mean, because I know there's another story I'm waiting for an update on, but you got to listen to the Patreon for that.
Yeah, definitely. So my son has been doing music reviews.
Shit, nice.
Like,
well, I know he was into it.
Yeah, he found this like website where you can review albums and stuff like that, and that's kind of his thing now. He does these music reviews, these long form music reviews.
That's tight.
For different albums and stuff like that, and he's getting good at it.
You do something like that?
Yes, I used to actually do like interviews and stuff like that back in the day, and all kind of stuff like in
and specifically music, right? Like
hip-hop. Yeah, in music.
Yeah.
I wrote for blameebro.com, which is it's a website that's an offshoot of On Hot 97. Mm-hmm. So I did that for a little bit. I wrote for a couple of websites and stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to check it out, there's a website called albumoftheyear.org that he writes for. And his username on there is Ren is now Nas. That's his username. So he writes reviews and stuff on there. He has a whole bunch of them on there. So check it out. I think I'm proud of him that he's taking his time. He's doing that. He writes a full-fledged review for albums and stuff. And it's not just hip hop. It's all kind of stuff. Like he wrote one for Ace of Hearts, which I don't know what that is, but he wrote a whole review of their album. He lists the best track on there, the worst track, and he gives his opinions. And my son, I like the fact that he's channeling his creativity in something like that. Yeah. I think that's dope.
No, because that's a lot. One, it's like he's sort of like refining his critical thinking skills instead of just like, this is good, this is bad, but when you can actually like break something down and give it like a meaning or sort of rationalize why you feel a certain way about a certain track, like that's super huge. one, building his writing skills,
Yeah.
because writing is fucking hard. Like,
Yes, it is.
I like anytime, like college was, that was the hardest part of college for me, was like writing long papers. Because a lot of my writing is very concise. And so it's like, I really need to do this in 32 pages when the answer is no. Like it just,
Yeah.
it's you got to do a lot of filler, you got to do a lot of fluff. And for me, it was just, that was always a fucking challenge. Like when I did my master's project and I had to write like a fucking book on like attendance, damn, like no lie. One of the first notes I got back from the professor was, writing is not your strong point. I was like, damn. I was like, we've only been in school like 2 weeks. How are you going to do me like that?
It's crazy because the way, at least in school, that's why I probably never finished college, the way they have writing in school makes no sense. And what I mean by that is, okay, they give you a research paper to write, and they tell you a certain amount of words, like it has to be 5,000 words and this, that. But that's not how writing works. That's not even how people read.
Yeah.
Because so you're essentially just writing to be writing, and you're trying to expound some grandiose point.
Yeah.
And when you're doing it that way, it doesn't come out right. It doesn't make any sense because you're just trying to be verbose for being verbose. And I've never been a fan of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just filling the page with text is just a waste. But I mean, if you're saying something of value or of interest and you're not just like hitting the thesaurus really hard, like, yeah, then go for it. But if it's one of those things that's just like, I really just, I'm looking for alternatives to all kinds of different terms, and it's just a fucking waste of time. Like when a sentence has got like 14 adjectives in it, like,
yeah,
you're just trying to make the quota of 5,000 words. That's all you're trying to do.
Yeah,
I mean, I did it, shit.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of corny that they have it like that, especially when considering like a lot of these professors don't necessarily read the paper. They're just like, all right, let's put it in the thing.
Yeah,
look at the word count.
Now it goes in like Blackboard. Make sure it's not plagiarized. How much of it is like authentic?
Yeah,
you said word count, edit.
Word count. Yeah, it's like we could do this better.
Yeah,
and I'm a writer. I used to write a lot. I used to write for hip hop sites. I used to write reviews of a whole bunch of stuff. Like you could probably go find some of my old reviews on the internet on certain things like that. I used to do a lot of that type of stuff. I used to write TV reviews. I used to write movie reviews. That was my thing at one point. Before I even did this podcast, because I was trying to find my voice.
But that's definitely like a really good skill to build, because a strong writer can do a lot of things. Like just thinking about in the educational world, like strong writing can get you grants. Strong writing can get you like board member support. Like strong writing can really open up a lot of fucking doors if you're powerful enough with like your laptop or your pen, and you can really use that to convince somebody, especially when it's their opportunity to read it, because it's not like when you do things face to face, people will just kind of argue you back. But when you put something in print, they'll read it, chew on it, maybe respond to you, so it functions a lot differently. So that's fucking tight, man. Like that's really, really cool.
Very, very proud of him. I'm happy that he's getting into that type of stuff. Happy he's expanding his horizons for certain things.
Exactly.
Can be more proud.
Are you happy that he's a snitch? Because he do be snitching on you.
No, I never be down with that little snitch life thing. That's not my vibe. Like, come on, fam, what you doing?
He really was out here like, yeah, my dad buys fucking bootlegs on the corner. You're like, man, why you make it hot?
Yeah, that was a thing, though. That was a thing back in the day. Like, I remember very fondly going to the bootleg, man, buying different types of movies. Mm-hmm. I want to say that was a thing up to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, still fairly recent. But I remember like when it was probably like peak bootleg, maybe 2005, 2007, like that window.
That sounds about right. Yeah. When
pre Netflix and streaming, like we're just getting, like if you wanted Netflix, you still had to wait for the disc, Yeah,
when CDRs became like more affordable to everybody. I remember they were like at one point you can get them for like $50.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah.
can just burn your own CDs and sell them. It became like a thing.
I remember and this really was just like right out of like a sitcom. I remember this dad coming to the school once. This was when I was still a teacher, and the principal, like the dad had a backpack full of movies, bootlegs, and he was like, "Hey, you can't like sell these on campus," because he was trying to sell them on campus while like the parents were dropping off and picking up. He's like, "No, you can't do that." And then he was like, "Oh, come on, man, just trying to make some money, whatever. I'm trying to sell these movies, 5 for 15 or whatever, something like that." And so then he was like, "Okay, well, we're going to need to talk about this in my office." And then later on, there's a fucking stack of movies on the principal's desk, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And he's like, "He has some good movies." So basically, he said you can't be selling them, but then was like, "Hey, come talk to me behind closed doors. I'm about to buy some movies right now."
Smart man.
Yeah, he was like, "Look, I got all the Matrix movies."
Yeah. I remember that era so well because, and you could probably vouch for the same thing. The transaction between the bootleg man and you was always interesting because he'll be telling you the movies he got,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll get to a certain section to read the room to see if it's cool,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll just throw out a random porn. I got these porns here too, like, whoa.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, definitely. Or it would be like accidentally, quote unquote, in there where he's like,
Yeah.
"Listen, I got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I got Matrix, I got Pulp Fiction. Oh, sorry, my bad, man. This one's got like some booties in it." And then, so like you said, it's the read the room. You either comment on it or you're like, "No, run it back."
And you always have this kind of like, y'all want to buy a porn from a bootleg guy?
And then you realize like you're buying any movie from the bootleg guy. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Very, very significant transaction right there, man. Those are some days. But
Yeah.
that's like what's talking about this reminds me too of like using fucking LimeWire and Kazaa, like the Napster days. And remember, I mean, like, hey, that's when internet was real whack. Like,
Oh yeah.
hey, we thought it was banging when it was fucking 56K. And it would be like, I'm gonna set these 5 songs to download
For
while
the
I go
whole
to sleep. I'm gonna go to bed when I wake up in the morning. And then when you wake up in the morning and you realize like they all fucking stalled out because something happened and you lost internet connections, you're like, damn it, I gotta do this all over again.
Download error. Like, God damn it.
Or then you finally listen to it and you're just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna listen to this new fucking Marilyn Manson song. And then it's like a fake title too, where it's like Marilyn Manson sings I Want You Back. And it's like, what? And then you listen to it and it's just like some random ass like jibber jab, and you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, Soulja Boy usually.
Yeah.
That was the thing. He used to do that.
Yes.
Did you heard that story before, right?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Soulja Boy, when he was coming up, he would go on the sites like Kazaa, BearShare, Napster, stuff like that, and upload his song that the big popular one everybody loves, Soulja Boy up in this, yeah.
Well, before Delvin even goes further, so these were peer-to-peer sites. And so it's like, if I had a song, I could tag the file whatever I wanted to tag it. So even if it was like an Outkast song, I could say it was fucking Bee Gees for as much as anyone knows. So you really ran the risk of like, yeah, this really is a legit track or some bullshit. So
yeah,
continue.
So he would go on the sites and upload his song as other people's song. He would look at like the top 20 hits, and he would upload his song at each one of those top 20 hits. So when people would download it, instead of hearing the song they wanted, they would get the Soulja Boy song. His idea was if they heard it enough, they would end up liking the song. So when the song actually popped off, because a lot of people already heard it.
Yeah, they already knew. It was already baked in.
They just didn't know who he was.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for as much as that dude is like a full-on doofus, it's pretty smart at a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like he's managed to keep himself relevant, and I mean, really was like one of the first to truly capitalize on the internet. Like
Yeah.
understood, like, oh, I can like make some money off of this shit, big time, and he did.
Yeah. And truthfully speaking, he rarely gets in any trouble.
No, no. I mean, he
Most of
has
the
had trouble, like for sure, but he pretty much just does his own thing.
Yeah, like even like when you hear the all these interviews and stuff about him, they're not like he just got locked up. It's more like he just said some wild shit on the interview.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get in trouble. Like,
Though, didn't he shoot at somebody or have a gun charge at one point?
Yeah, I think that was even like called self defense. And then that's when he told that wild story about him in the shootout in his house and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Like he was
And so I
goddamn
just
John
came
Wick.
bam, bam, and then he came through like boom, boom. Yes, he was like fucking John Wick, man. If there's one thing Soldier Boy does, is he gives a good fucking interview. Because that one I fully forgot, where he was like, man, I fucking shot him like at the groin, and it was just like he really was doing a lot. Like somehow he shot like 56 times off of like just a handgun.
yeah. Like he's fucking John Wick or with unlimited bullets, like he's in the raid.
Seriously, he had like a triple extendo clip. Like, what are you talking about, man? How you shoot like 15 dudes? Like, what do you mean? He was like fucking matrixing through the air. Fucking Soldier Boy, dude. That dude, he's on a different level.
He really is. He really is. I appreciate him. I really do. Like me being older now, I realize like he's a kid, and this is what kids do, and he exaggerates and stuff like that. Okay,
exactly. I mean, he's still out here though. That fucking Drake interview was just the best though.
Yeah, I love it. Drake.
Yeah, dude, it will never die. It will never fucking die. But I guess we can kind of get some grounding and some foundation on this episode because we've been fucking all over the place, man. But what have you been up to, dude? What's been going on with you?
Oh man, not too much. I like I said, said earlier, I saw the Uncharted movie.
Oh shit, you did?
Yeah, it was a movie.
That's kind of what I figured. Uncharted movie looks like a bootleg movie, so we can go back to that.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a bootleg movie. It's weird because I told me and my son was talking about this because I took him to go see it because he really wanted to see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So and nobody else in the house wanted to go see it, which was good. So I took him to and I never do this because that shit costs way too much for 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have like the IMAX screens and stuff like that. Then they have the Dolby Cinema, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
IMAX was sold out. So I said, since it's just me and him, we'll go see it in the Dolby Cinema with the good seats.
Okay.
So I bought the tickets. He's like, whoa, these seats are kind of awesome. Like, this is how white people go see movies. I'm like, yes, son.
He's like, I'm never going back.
Like, yes, son. This is how the white people enjoy movies, son.
He's like, so you can put up your feet?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Like, he put the recliner all out. I did too. And then we had to put it back in because people kept walking by and that shit got annoying really fast.
Did he start singing, "We're moving on up"?
So, like I told him when we watched it, after we watched it, like, the movie feels like somebody watched Uncharted, like played Uncharted 4.
And then explained it?
And then, not only explain, like, say, hey, let's make that movie. And you're like, hey, buddy, we have 3 other things before we get to that movie. No. We don't have to worry about the past. We just get to that movie right there. Like, so it's so weird. Like, they're trying to, like, smush 1, 2, 3, and 4 into one movie and cut out some elements. And it's so weird because, like, the way they do things, there are scenes in the movie that are direct parallels to Uncharted 4. There are characters in the movie that are direct parallel to characters in Uncharted 4. So it's so weird. It's like I said, it's like an Uncharted greatest hits and it doesn't work. I can see how people can like it. I didn't enjoy it because people are telling me, oh, it's because you like the game. Like, no, it's because thematically it's not a good movie. Uh-huh. It's a generic action flick with a bunch of set pieces that may or may not work, which is cool, but it's like, I'll put it to you this way. If it wasn't Uncharted, I would have waited to watch this like Blockbuster or Redbox or some shit like that.
That sounds about right. Because like everything that I've seen on this movie, I'm like, I think one, just even from the concept, even all the way through the casting, I'm just like, this is off base. Like it just didn't have the right elements in it. And so it just seems like we have to make a movie. Like we got to make some money. Another
I
part
will
to
say
this
this.
too is that they're a whole ass decade off. Too.
Yeah.
Like it should have got made when it got first talked about.
I will say this. Tom Holland's a good Nathan Drake. He's a very good Nathan Drake. I think.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. He's a good Nathan Drake. Now, Mark Wahlberg is not a good Sully at all. He thematically doesn't feel like the character.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the charm that Sully, like Victor Sullivan.
He doesn't have a mustache.
Doesn't have a mustache. He doesn't have that charm that Sully has in the games.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the bad guys are okay. It doesn't feel like Uncharted in terms of how Nathan Drake has. Like when you're playing Uncharted, there's these points where Nathan Drake just murders 1,000 people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They rein that way the fuck in. So it's more like.
Because he does two things. He shoots everybody and he climbs.
Yes. In this movie, he shoots virtually nobody and he climbs somewhat.
So they did like the Spielberg version of it where he's like, we're going to take out the guns and put walkie-talkies.
Yeah, kind of like I think he really only shoots in like one part of the movie.
Oh, because he's a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Single-handedly.
And I'm fine with that in the movie form because you have movies like Rambo and shit like that. Mm-hmm. It's not an uncommon thing in movies. But I feel like because it was Tom Holland, they tried to rein that in. Like, all right, we don't want Tom Holland out here being an action star, shooting people and doing things. But that's kind of what Uncharted is. You're an action star.
Yeah. And that's what it needs to be. It's like big, like over the top. Yeah. Everything I kind of saw was just like, I'll watch it when Delvin buys it for Voodoo. Like,
which I will eventually do. Like once I got to start cashing my codes in because I still got a bunch of codes left. So I'm probably gonna end up giving some of those out on Patreon and cashing the rest of it on the Voodoo account.
Yeah, might as well. Aside from that, so you went and saw Uncharted. Anything else?
Well, me and you can talk about this together. We'll talk about it before I talk about it. Play some video games because I think this is
cool. Yeah.
Here.
Well, yeah, you gonna talk about Horizon?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it so far?
Okay, so I'm still fairly early into it, and I really, really like it.
Question.
Yeah.
Did you get to the Forbidden West yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
There we go.
I'm at the point where I have to knock the cables off that shuttle so it can fall. So I'm barely 45 minutes to an hour into the game.
Yeah, you're early in it.
Yeah. So I'm still early into it, and I did have to tell myself though, because I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this is kind of boring. But I had to recognize that it's in a sense like a real-time tutorial. Like,
yes,
it's teaching you how to fight. It's teaching you how to climb without, even though it does say press this to do that, it's still letting you sort of figure it out along the way as you go through.
I like that.
So it's it's holding your hand, but letting you loose. And so you're figuring out, oh, this is how I climb. This is how I shoot. This is how I do this other thing. So it's like, once I kind of literally said that to myself, where I was like, oh, this is tutorial, then I was good with it because I was like, the story's going to unfold. What I don't like at all is the partner guy that's with you in the beginning.
Okay.
I don't like him because he feels like what's that fucking, like in the latter like Zelda games where Link had that little sprite that would be like over here, yes. And it'd be like, here's the chest. He makes it too easy. So he will be like, oh, I think this room has a fucking digital panel. And it's like, damn, spoiler alert, I would have liked to have looked for it, you know? And so he does that like 3 or 4 times where he's like, this room seems like it would have some treasures. You think so, fucking dummy? Because when I scanned it, it told me there were 10 treasures in here. Like, yeah, probably. So that character needs to be toned down a little because it's like, man, you're a buzzkill, man. I'm trying to get hyped up and into this game, and you're over here giving up all the secrets.
Well, not to spoil it for you, it gets toned down.
Okay,
It
good.
definitely does. Yeah.
Well, I figured because now she's broken off from him and she's like, I gotta go figure shit out. I did like the recap in the beginning
Recap's great.
because I was like, how are they going to connect it? I mean, it's been a while since from Zero Dawn to Frozen Wilds to Forbidden West. Like we've had a large gap, you know. So it's like, how are they going to sort of reintroduce it? I kind of wish I would have listened to what was that the Gaia cast, just to kind of
Yes.
get refamiliarized. But I was just like, nah, it's all right. Um, but yeah, looks amazing. I'm struggling with the what is it, performance and enhanced modes. Um, like I think I was telling you and Mike earlier today or yesterday that
Yes.
the performance mode is real crisp. Like it looks really, really amazing. But it's almost a little too sharp, where it's like, it's like I don't know. It's just too crisp. The lines are too hard. It needs some softening. But on the flip side, the enhanced mode looks beautiful, but it blurs when you're like in battle. And
Yes.
I think it was like IGN maybe that was talking about the difference between the two modes. And whoever wrote the article said that what they would do is when they were just out like walking and traveling and kind of just doing adventure shit, they kept it in the enhanced mode. And then when they were going to get into a battle, they paused the game, switched it to performance, and then did the performance like that. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I think for the quick battles, that shit would look real nice. But at the same time, you know what I'm not going to do? Pause it like every 15 minutes if I can
Yeah.
switch the mode.
Yeah.
So if it had an auto like sort of switch, that would be really cool. Or if they had something that met in the middle. But either way, it's fucking beautiful.
It
Like
is.
that's an amazing looking game. I don't know. So, anyways, I did a lot of talking about it. What's your take?
I love it so far. I like it way more than I like the first one so far.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the first one had these moments where it's very obtuse of what you're supposed to be doing
Yeah.
and what you need to do to move the game forward. This one does a great job of holding your hand without holding your hand. Like, okay, this is what you need to do to progress the story forward. This is how you do it. This is where you need to go. This is what you need to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
And with, like I said, with the original one, I didn't feel that was necessarily the case. Like even the side missions in this one matters.
Uh-huh.
And I like that about it. And they give you like story beats for the side mission. Like I found this camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like not to give too spoiler, but I found this camp. I kill all the bad guys in the camp and stuff like that. And then you find like a letter in the camp. They're like, oh, they were making the blaze, and they were gonna blow up this crater.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells you like I have to destroy this crater because this blaze before they use it for evil. So now
Mm-hmm.
it kind of opened up another mission of you blowing up these blaze containers because of these bad. This is a side mission, by the way,
Uh-huh.
because there's this bad group is going to use these blaze containers to blow up this village. And I think that's really cool, and it adds more urgency to the game and these missions, and it makes you want to complete the side missions because of that.
Yeah. And that's something I've read is that the missions overall, including like your main story quests, are less fetch quest. Like they actually have a purpose, and that there are fetch quest style missions, there's not a ton of them. Whereas like the Horizon Zero Dawn, that game was like fetch quest sin. Even on
Yeah.
main quest, it was just get this, bring it back, get this, bring it back, fucking all the time. Give me 5 fucking shrubs or medical things. It was like, God damn, we're still doing this. So, um, yeah, just what I've read on that, like I'm like, okay, that I think that's a huge improvement. It is nice fighting the mechanical beasts again and learning how to like scan them and be like stealthy and shit like that. But I'm still getting the controls down because you use like what is it? R2 is like heavy strike,
Yes.
and then R1 is like the quick strike. And so it fucks me up because I want to hit X, I want to hit one of the buttons, and then I'm like, oh fuck. So as I'm about to like do the like a stealth strike, I hit the wrong button, and then I'm like, here I am. I can start a fight.
Yeah. Happens to me sometimes.
Yeah, but no, I think it's really really good. I'm looking forward to it. I actually have a game plan in place. Um, so I'm gonna, and we'll talk about this soon. I just finished Far Cry 6, and I do want to talk about that because you finished it too, right?
Yes, I did.
And then so I want to go I want to wrap up Horizon. I mean, just barely started, so I'll give it time. And then I want to play Kenna. Is it Kenna? Kenna?
Yes.
I want to play that and then get into the update of Cyberpunk. Because I figure if I do Horizon to Cyberpunk, even though they're different games, they're too similar and do a story, complete a thing, all that in depth. I want
I agree.
something lighter in the middle. So that's kind of like my strategical game plan right now.
I like it. It's a good game plan. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Now, the Far Cry 6 though, I do want to talk about that. What did you think of how the game ended?
Story wise, it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very lackluster in terms of okay, you do all this stuff to get to this final big boss battle, and
that's what happens.
and that's what happens. Yeah, I guess that's it. Like,
Yeah.
that's a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we won't spoil it here, but it's like you go through like what 3 stages of battles, and I gotta say the last mission was fun because it's like
It's fun.
you gotta work for it to get to the end, but it hits you with some fucking video game blue balls in the end where you're like, yeah, nope, no nut.
Yeah,
Zero.
it kind of is just like, I kind of want to do that. Why
Yeah.
didn't you just let me have my moment? It's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't have that moment. Like,
Or
oh, disappointing.
especially like not having the option. I would have liked an option, like to either protect a character or end a character. You know what I mean? Like, so that would have been one of the big pieces. Now, did you listen to the credits? That sort of Easter egg in the end?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Okay. I found that really fascinating though, because and for anyone listening right now, just kind of cover your ears for about 30 seconds.
I think this has been out for a while too, by the way. People know
Yeah.
about this
Yeah.
Easter egg.
So in the end, you have one of the characters talking to a quote unquote smuggler, and he's like, yeah, we got a bunch of this, like like the premise of the game is like this dictator is cooking up this sort of chemical, which was it like kind of cures cancer, but at
Yeah,
the
it
same
treats
time,
cancer and it's supposed to cure it.
yeah, but at the same time, he's also like raping the land. So because he's trying to capitalize off of the product they're making. What was it? The Viviro? Is that what it is?
Yes.
And so this one character, Juan, is talking to the smuggler. And what you kind of realize in the end is that is it's Voss, right? From Far Cry
Yes.
3. So I thought that was really interesting because now it establishes a timeline. And I was like, oh, so this is because Voss is dead.
Yes.
So it's like, so this technically would be like Far Cry 2.5.
Yeah, it's a prequel.
Like it would be a prequel to 3. So I was like, oh, this makes it really, really interesting because if they wanted to make a Far Cry 7 or like how they did New Dawn, like you could make a mini sort of in between that connects 6 to 3, where you have Voss becoming that sort of crazy guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's a really smart move.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I bought the DLC for it recently because it was like really cheap. I think it was like $15 or something like that for all the DLC packs.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try each one of those because it comes with the 3 main DLCs, which is the Voss DLC, the Pagan Mid, and Joseph
Joseph
Seed
Seed.
DLC.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to try that eventually. But overall, I like the game a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito is an
That
awesome
dude's fucking
actor.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Like
he is.
that's a national treasure right there. That guy's amazing.
Facts. I like what they did with his character.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like. I will say this: the bosses in this game don't feel, with the exception of Giancarlo, don't feel as magnetic and as impressive as the ones in the previous Far Cry games.
Yeah. Hmm.
They don't like like when you play, was it 5?
Hmm.
Each one of the 5 bosses, when you go to their area kind of feeds
It's
off
their
their
area.
personality. Yeah, it feeds off their personality. Whereas, as opposed to this game, you go into areas like they all kind of feel the same.
Yeah.
Except like it's more or less different terrains. Like you have one area that's more in the mountains and stuff like that. More areas that's more jungle, more areas that's flatlands. But it doesn't have any of the boss's feel or flair to it.
Yeah. Well, I explained it to my son like this because he finished 6 and then went to 5. Actually, he finished 6, then played Blood Dragon, then went in because I got the what's it, the gold edition that had all the DLC and Blood Dragon in it.
Yeah.
That shit was like went on sale, and I think I copped it for like $30, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
And so I was just like, yeah, for sure. And so when he played Far Cry 5, he was like, to him it was the reverse though. He was like, I don't like this. He's like, because I have to go to each one of the characters' zones. And so I was like, yeah, it's just the reverse of 6. Whereas in 6, you have to recruit everyone in the zones to then fight the main guy. This one, you have to defeat each one of the zones to go to the main guy. So
Yes.
it's like you already know who the mini boss is. But I think Far Cry 5 is probably the best Far Cry. Like,
I agree.
the story is amazing. The gameplay is really good. The structure, there's always a weird fucking sort of magical element to each Far Cry game. And when Far Cry 5 gets weird, it gets weird in a really good way. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
It's very well done. Like, that is, in my opinion, the best Far Cry game.
Oh, also another note, speaking of Far Cry 5, I just like the fact that you can recruit other people to your team instead of like I wasn't a fan of Far Cry 6, like, oh, you can have a chicken fight beside you or a gator.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that. I liked having a dog and stuff like that. But
You had your army.
Yeah, I prefer having like, okay, I can have this sniper just fight beside me, when I go bring out these bases and stuff like that. As opposed to like, oh, here's this gator walking beside me.
And I agree with you because even when you had people fighting beside you, they fought independently.
Yes.
Whereas, like you said, you want a sniper with you? Fuck, that shit was great because I'm a run and gun character, and that sniper was going to perch, which gave me cover to go do wild shit. But I will say this, man, I had Chicharron, the fucking rooster.
Yes.
I had him jacked. So he was jumping at people, one-shot kills, just clawing them to death. I was like, also, fucking Chicharron's wild because, like, he would jump in the window of the car. So when I'd look to the right, I'm like, this fucker riding shotgun.
Yeah.
So shout out to Chicharron. That's my ride or die right there. Yeah, he got me through the game.
It was awesome. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention about my week. I think this is pretty big. I'm surprised I forgot to mention it. So I went to a pawn shop the other day.
Oh, shit.
And I found a PS3 and a Game Boy Color.
Oh, word. Nice.
All for $100.
Each or both?
Both.
Fuck, that's amazing.
Yeah. I went in this pawn shop in Little Havana, this little small pawn shop. And they had a whole bunch of stuff like MPC 2000s and things like that. A lot of music equipment. And I saw in the corner they had like a whole bunch of game consoles. They had like a Vita. I have 2 Vitas now. They had a Switch. They had a whole bunch of other things. And I said, oh, they had a stack of like PS3s.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking to myself, like, I want a PS3 because I'm tired of this PlayStation Now crap. And, oh, you want to play your old games? You got to go buy PlayStation Now. Most of them are not going to be there. I want to play like Pitch Black. Well, it's not called Pitch Black. It's called Chronicles of Riddick. I want to play 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. So I said to myself, if they have the PS3 there and it's under $100 or it's $100 flat, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I asked the guy, I said, hey, how much is that PS3? It's the flat one. Not the one that looks like a Foreman grill. The one before that one.
Yeah.
He said, it's $65. I'm like, oh, really? Like, yeah. I said, oh, I'll take that. Let me get that.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw he had like a bunch of Game Boys there. I said, well, how much is the Game Boy? $45. He said, but if you buy both of them, I'll give them to you for $100.
Shit.
So I said, all right, let me get both of them. Let's do it. So I got both of them. He gave to me both for like $100.
Because I'm not going to lie, you came up on that deal. Big time.
And they had more there. They had more Game Boys there. I'm thinking about going back and buying another Game Boy for my kids. Game Boy Color. Only thing about them is like the screens were scratched up, but I found that you can apparently the Game Boy screen is easy to replace.
Yeah, like wild easy.
Like you just peel it off and put a new one on there. So I'm like, so I ordered one off eBay to change that screen. And I'm like, I hooked up the PS3. Man, it's awesome. It's great. Like, I forgot that the PS3s had no like hard drive space. It had like 120 gigabytes of hard drive space.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just change out the hard drive on it. The only problem with my system I got, looks brand new, was this. It came with a 6-axis controller.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you know the 6-axis, that's the one that doesn't have any rumble.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the battery on it is dead on the 6-axis. So I got to change the 6-axis battery. So anytime I have to play it, I have to leave it plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise than that, it's perfect, man. I'm having a blast, like downloading old PS3 games and things like that. It's so much fun. And with the Game Boy, like I said, I'm gonna change the screen with it. I ordered it's a purple one, so I ordered the Pokemon screen with it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I'm excited to change that out, man. I'm gonna buy some Game Boy.
Did they have any of the Slim Vitas?
Yes.
All right, because I am specifically looking for it's like that sort of tennis ball yellow one.
Okay. So I'll go there this week, and if I see one, I'll call you up and I'll.
Or if even if you just go take a picture of what they got on stock, because I have a black Vita, I have a white Vita of the original, like OLED.
Yes.
And then just in general, I would like a Slim, but every time I find one, they're always like, they're jacked up in price and they're modded. And not that I don't want a modded one. I actually just want it for like the display to just look at. What I really fucking regret is Greg Miller was at with the PSXP years back. And I think I got it to go like, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to him do a speak thing or whatever. I'll go do something else. And that's when he fucking gave away a bunch of the blue Slims. And I was sitting right in front because I just watched the Kojima thing. So then a bunch of fools were people started yelling and people were walking around with these brand new Vitas in a box. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I just walked out of there. Like, I would have tolerated Greg Miller to just get a fucking free Vita.
Free Vita, yeah.
So pissed. And it was one of the Slims. I've always wanted one of the Slims just to have it, so I was pissed as a motherfucker.
Yeah, man. And like I said, they had a bunch of stuff there, and it's like I think because of the location, because this is the thing about Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Miami is not necessarily a big gaming place, especially like in the further south, like when you go in like the Little Havana areas or something like that with a bunch of old Spanish people. So this place had a bunch of video game stuff there just sitting there.
Yeah.
And so when I bought it, the guy was excited, like, oh, we're moving some of this shit. Yeah. Like they had laptops for $80. They had like a lot of like music equipment for really cheap. They had like I said, the PlayStation 3s, Xbox 360s and stuff. So I'm like, man, I might just go back and just start cleaning up and buying some of this stuff and anything that needs to get played up. Like
look
just
at the
repair.
games and start making yourself a nice little collection too. Man,
Yeah,
be like fucking Josh Stapleton and start flipping that shit too.
I might just do that. Like it's a lot of that stuff there, man. I'm like, oh
Clean it up, throw up in a fucking eBay store or something. Man,
yeah,
you know what? Take your son with you. Teach him how to just sell it.
yeah. That's a good idea, man. Because
Just be like, hey, listen, you want to make just a couple dollars? Here's how we could do it.
it's a crazy amount of stuff there too, man.
Yeah. Now you were talking about the PS3, and it made me think too. I know a lot of people are getting like the plates for their PlayStations. Um, I really do want to change the look of my PS5, but I really want it to look like a PS3 because I love that high gloss, like piano black, fat PlayStation from back in the day.
Oh yeah,
And
that was great.
and so I really want some like high gloss, like black plates. But the ones I see, because they're the unofficial PlayStation ones, I don't like the cut of them, or it doesn't have the cutout for the PlayStation logo. So I'm
Yes,
like, damn, I'm hoping that we'll get some official like high gloss, like black plates.
yeah.
And
And
then
the official ones are matte. That's the ones I have. I have the official
yeah,
ones.
they're the matte black. So then I would do the rainbow logo under, and then put the that or the red, because wasn't the PS3 the red PlayStation logo?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So that or that one. So I'm just like, damn, but I need those high gloss ones to come out, or something really similar to what the PlayStation 5s look like. Because the third party ones don't have the collar as high, I think.
Yeah, and they can't put the PlayStation cutout logo on it.
Yeah, they kind of do the cutout. So I'm just like, damn, man, I really want that. So I'll keep an eye out for it. Um, yeah, and then what else? Like, I mean, so that's a good like nutshell of gaming. Yeah, just Horizon's on there. Far Cry 6, been playing that. Um, Ollie Ollie came out, and
Oh, I got that too.
that's a lot of fun. I love how they flipped the script. Like they really changed how the game plays. Um, and with the changes they made, I think it's way more accessible.
Yeah,
It's a ton of fun. I've been playing it on the Switch. I think it fits perfectly on there. I just haven't had the time to like get further in it, so I might just play some more tonight. But man, that fucking Ollie Ollie is so good, man.
yeah.
So good.
It has a Adventure Time feel to it with the art style.
Yeah.
Art style's really good. I like how it looks. I like how it plays. It's fun. I got it on PS5. I wish I would have got it on Switch instead because just for the portability aspect of it. But it's a lot of fun, man. It's really
Yeah.
fun.
It feels like it lives well on there. Um, and then I guess we can transition over onto my end. Um, yeah, February was like a really busy month. So like last time we talked, we did it was my daughter's birthday coming up. So we had a bunch of her little girlfriends over here. And if you ever wanted to live in insanity, like just have like 8, 9 to 10 year old girls in your house.
I
That
shoot
shit is
myself.
that shit is crazy. I was like, I literally came home, heard the noise, and then went to the bedroom and locked myself in there. I was like, oh, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, no, these fucking girls are on one. They don't talk in a normal voice, just squealing and yelling the whole time. So I was like, whoa. But we got the kids together. Like my wife kind of coordinated with the other moms, and we did go to Universal Studios last weekend, Super Bowl weekend, and so that was pretty fun. We had a good time over there. The hours are real short. Like shit was open from like I think it was 10 to 6 p.m. And Universal Studios Hollywood is not a very big park. So we were able to cover everything. We did the tram ride, we went on the rides. I texted Delvin a picture of Jaws. He was super
Yes.
hyped.
No, not at all.
And then but what was really fucking funny is we went on the Revenge of the Mummy, Curse of the Mummy, whatever it is, their mummy ride. And it's a fun like indoor coaster. And it's one of those that goes like fast in one direction, fucking left and right, turns all over the place, and then it stops and goes in reverse. And so we went on this ride and broke every one of these little fucking girls that went with us. They got off the ride, man. Tears, loss of trust, like just These girls, they said, we're not going on any other rides. And they immediately wanted to go to like Secret Life of Pets. They're like, we're doing the opposite of this. But
that's the best.
yeah,
Kill their hopes and dreams.
oh man, you would, if you would have seen it, it was really a special moment. But I did see a little bit of construction of the Super Mario Land, and so that looked pretty cool to kind of see the backdrop going up and stuff.
Oh, that's
like
what that's happening at. That's happening there.
Yeah, so that should be coming around, but it's going to be a very tiny section. But so my best guess is it'll just be like one ride and maybe some eateries and stuff like that. But because like if you go into like Springfield, it's not a very big section. They do a great job of theming it, so you get to go into like Moe's Tavern. We had lunch and we had a fucking crusty burger, so you kind of get the feel of it, but it's honestly like you to get from one side of one of these sections to another is like 30 seconds. It's like not very big at all. And then I just this coming weekend will be my last DJ class, and that shit has been so much fun. I've learned different scratches. One thing that I really, really fell in love with was syncing the music. So like the instructor will play a random track, and then we have to sync up the beats. So like as if we were doing like a live show or something, so that it's not like we go from a fast song to a slow song and people are like, what the fuck is this? So that one beat will lead into the other. So we got to identify the sort of beats per minute and stuff like that. That got really fun for me because it was like go ahead.
Like the crossfade, I think it's called, right?
Yeah. So we eventually have to like fade it over from one side to another. So we would do that crossfader. But it was like speeding up our track or slowing it down. And it's all non-digital. So it's all like you got to manipulate the record itself by speeding it up with your finger, slowing it down, adjusting the fucking pitch lever up on the top so that we could then fade it over and one track would lead to the other. I mean, they're different songs, but it would be like now the beats are in sync. Once you have them in sync, you play it and then you can adjust the second track to like whatever the appropriate speed is. And
I didn't tell you this, but your conversation about the DJ kind of inspired me. I'm like, I don't want to get official DJ equipment because that's a lot of work and that's that takes a lot of talent. But I was kind of considering buying the digital DJ stuff, like the digital turntables and like DJ with MP3s. But I want to kind of learn how to do that with like R&B type stuff, like old 80s and 90s R&B. And like just mixing it like soul funk samples and stuff and just like mix them together and kind of come up with like cool mixes. I think that would be a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, but shit, I can't even remember what it was that we did over the weekend. Oh, it was do you know the song White Horse?
Yes.
Okay, so we over the speakers, so all the speakers kind of come down from the ceiling. And so that's the instructor's music so that each one of us can hear the music directly. And so he was playing White Horse. And then the way it is, we hear our own track inside we have a different track running. And so we hear that in our headphones. So you're hearing because they're also teaching you too, like you see a DJ has one headphone over one ear and one uncovered. One is to hear the track that's on the records itself, and one is to hear the room. Yes. So you're hearing the room and hearing your track. And so you're doing this independent listening. And then once we think we got him in sync, we kind of raise our hand when the instructors comes over and then they slide the fader over and then they'll be like, yeah, this is like perfect. And so, we did that too. It Laid Back as the group. And that fucking was just like, man, the beat on White Horse is amazing. So when you just hear it thumping hard, it's like, fuck yes, we did a couple other like old school songs too. We did the instrumental to like a Freakazoid, like Freakazoid's on the dance floor. So that very 80s sort of techno-y dance, not techno, but like dance hip hop beat, So it's really cool. It's a great skill. And if they have DJ classes by you, I highly recommend doing it just to I feel like I understand it a lot better now, you know?
I feel like that would be something cool to do for like about like 42nd, 43rd birthday party. Just like bring out like this digital DJ equipment.
Hmm.
Not actual turntables and stuff. That's a lot of shit to bring out. But like
Yeah.
just because I got a lot of MP3s and things like that. It's just like DJ. It's like fucking DJ like old
Yeah.
school hip hop, old school R&B and stuff. And
Shit. When
just
next time you go
have a
to the
blast
pawn
with it.
shop, you got to look for that equipment.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea,
That's
man.
because that's probably where you find it. Um, then one of the downsides though that's got me kind of really bummed out is the next level class, which gets like way more technical. You learn a few more scratches. You actually learn how to incorporate the laptop into it. Um, but that's an 8 month long class, and it's either 2 days a week for an hour each, or one day a week for like 2 hours. But it's way on the other side of LA, and I'm way down in South Orange County to work. So it's like if I were to do it, I would never make it to class on time. And 8 months is like too long of a commitment for me, where it's like I can do like 2, 3 months easy. Because I can find the right time of year. But 8 months, I'm like, oh fuck, I can't.
Do
Like
they
when
have other places you can take the class at?
no, they just got one facility. Um, so I'm kind of like stuck with that, or at least knowing their track and their system. So there used to be another DJ school around, but this one too, because it's done by the Beat Junkies. Um, it's like they're already like a respectable crew. You easily like respected or well respected within the hip hop community. So it's like
Yes.
kind of keeping with that as well. Um, so I was talking to one of the managers of the facility, and I was just like, listen, let me just be straight up with you. I was like, I really want to continue this because one thing I didn't or anticipate was like how sort of therapeutic it was going to be. Like, as I'm doing this DJ class, I'm not thinking about COVID. I'm not thinking about running the school. Like all that day-to-day shit that's commonly in my head. Like I'm not thinking, all I'm thinking about is like, I got to make this beat match that beat. I got to get this scratch down right. Cause there's some scratches that like are fucking hard because it's like timing, it's the fader and the sort of push like at a certain time, you know? So it's not just like fucking around your grandma's stereo, just going, you know. So I
Sounds
told,
dope.
yeah, it really
I
is.
I think you should continue it if you
Yeah,
can find a way to.
yeah. So that's what I say. So I talked to the lady who was coordinating, and I was like, if you guys did a session A, session B, I could probably make that work. Or if you had something that was like in between, then that would be awesome. I was like, because here's like the honest truth. I was like, I don't honestly plan on making a career of it. This is just like a great sort of like mindset for me. I love it. Um, I was like, but I cannot commit to it the way that your program needs. I was like, I run a school like on a regular day to day. And she was like, oh yeah, then it makes sense. I was like, so it's not like I don't want to do it. I really do. I just can't like commit to it. So
Let me ask the question. This may sound a little silly. Do they have a YouTube version of their class?
no. Or they used to like they have some archived videos so you can see it. And I when I was using that little portable turntable, I was using some of their videos too.
Okay.
But actually this is one of those things when you're hands-on in the place with it's like the one instructor and a couple aides kind of helping you out, fucking elevates the game because then you can ask questions or actually be in front of like the turntables, and it's like, oh, this is different. This is way fucking different. So I definitely see the benefit of being in person. Like
Yeah,
online doesn't cut it.
I feel like if you can't go there, at least having like a version of it, even if it's like a YouTube version of it,
Yeah.
would probably be help you keep honing your skills while you until you can figure out a way to get back
Yeah.
to those courses.
Because you know who has really good videos too is Scratch Bastard, is really good DJ, and so his videos are super helpful too. But yeah, this is more going into the like technical side of it. So we'll see down the road. I'm going to keep an eye on them because in talking to one of the aides or the instructors, they were like, no one's ever really asked this, so glad you're putting it on our radar. Maybe we do need to consider something for people who are going a different pathway. So like, we don't have it now, but it's not to say we won't ever have it. They're like, just keep an eye. So I was like, cool, I'll do that. But
yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so like I said, this Friday is my last this Saturday is my last class. Super bummed, but at the same time, I'm glad I did it because I actually learned something like really, really cool, and felt like I did a pretty good job on it. I got a
That's
lot
dope.
of good like positive praise, so that shit was tight. But yeah, so that's kind of been shit on like my end. Um, let's see what else we got going on. Oh, we do got a what's up with that. So
Yes, I already know what this is.
I do want to jump on this topic. I was hoping T would be here too because he was the one who wanted to talk about it more. But so let's jump into this topic.
Ooh-wee. What up with that? What up with that? Ooh-wee. What up with that? What up with that? He said, she said, we said, Lee said, what up with that?
What is up with like corny, faux alpha male types? And what I mean by that is, and I'm not really going to use any names because I don't want to give anyone some fucking unnecessary hype at all. But it's like, you see certain people on like social media, like on Twitter, just saying this like wild fucking like male toxicity, or like there's been like a TikTok going around about the one guy who's like talking about how having to like, what does he say, like, I don't even like pussy, it's like forced on me to have to like it. And it's like all these fucking like hot take dudes who just say wild shit that's like, you just sound so dumb. Like, I don't fucking understand. Like, I've always struggled with people who think it's really cool to sound like an ignorant dickhead. Like, I know Joe Rogan's making a lot of money, but like, not everyone's a fucking Joe Rogan. A lot of people just sound like fucking cornballs. I don't know. What do you think about these types of dudes?
I think it plays a lot to. It's crazy because these are the same people who talk about like male fragility, but they're the ones who kind of showing their fragileness with the way they act and behave themselves. Like me, I'm very confident of who I am and the man I am and what I bring to the table. I don't have to tell people 1,000 times of how they should act as a man. You know what I mean? All person I do that with is my son.
Yeah, and you're trying to raise him, which is very different.
Yeah, and there's this thing where it's become a popular thing in pop culture now, where men have to tell you how manly they are and how they should allow women to do what they do, and how without us the world wouldn't exist. And it's showing their insecurity. I don't never have to tell anybody, well, without me you wouldn't exist, or put other people down to make myself sound greater than I am. And that's all they're really doing. They don't have to do it. It's corny, it's cheesy, it's stupid, and it's a lot of it's kind of outdated thinking and logic. Like the whole thing about like the one we were talking about today with how these cartoon characters aren't manly anymore.
Yeah,
like, so what? They're for kids. Who gives a shit? Like,
yeah, and let's just pause it right there. They are for kids. Yes, I know we have adult cartoons. I know, like, we just talked about Adult Swim shit earlier. But like those the cartoons I had when I was a kid, there was a section of them that were wild rapey. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, that he's literally a sexual predator, like straight up. And so it's not like we're trying to devalue men or anything like that. It's about knowing better and doing better. Yeah. And to be like, because I always think the big flaw in that type of dialogue is like, we need to go back to this time. Oh, word, you want to go back to that time? Because I believe that time also included when you couldn't sit at the counter. So you going to take that with you too? You're not going to drink
Exactly.
from the fountain. Like if you want some of it, you better take all of it. Like what
Yeah.
the fuck are you talking about?
People forget this type of era they kind of long for. Like some people long for like the 90s era
Mm-hmm.
or the 80s or the 50s or the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bad shit happened to minorities in those times. Like look
Yeah.
at the early 90s where it was all the gang violence, the street
Mhm.
violence and stuff like that. Hip hop was so hard and rugged back then because a lot of rugged and hard shit was happening.
Mhm.
Like people were actually getting killed in the street. They were getting murdered. And to be someone who's like, oh, we need to go back to this era where men were men, they were streets, they weren't being good, responsible fathers. What are you talking about? Things are a lot better for this generation than they were for us. You have more fathers being actual fathers. You have more fathers actually trying to be there for their kids. I've seen an influx of a lot of people who even aren't with the mothers of the child, but they are actively making sure they're taking care of their kids, and that's a great thing.
Yeah.
This generation is getting a lot of things right. And that's good. We don't have to sit there and be like, oh, well, we have to go back to being a man. No, it's okay for men to show feelings, emotions, and express themselves. And I think it's really corny when these people try to downplay that and downplay women at the same time.
Yeah. Because it's like, what era were men? Because like all types of men existed. So we can just already have that right off the top. But it's like, so you're only a man if you are hyper aggressive, if you are abusive, if you like, I don't fucking get it. And it's the type of guys who idolize this shit when it's like the reality is you're showing that you are like extremely fucking weak. That or you're just trying to ride someone else's dick is really what you're trying to do because you're like, oh, I'm going to try to be like these other faux alpha males over here. And it's like, you're not fucking Tim the Two-Man Taylor where you have to do all the fucking grunts and stuff like that. Like, you got to evolve, man. Like, stop being a fucking caveman.
It shows a lot of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of these same alpha male dudes is like, oh, you can't let women do this. Let women be women, let men be men. I understand certain aspects of letting women be women, let men be men, but at the same time, you have to be respectful towards women and who they are and what they bring to the table. If there's an independent woman out there doing her thing, becoming super successful at it, praise her.
Yeah.
Don't sit down and down talking like, oh, you need to be subservient to men. No, we should be on the same equal footing. Yes, we're not 100% alike, and that's fine. But the strengths that we have are not the same strengths they have. Yeah. And the strengths they have are not the same strengths we have. So we need to come together as one and make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so just this, like I said, this type of like dialogue or just choosing to be ignorant is just like always just the biggest challenge. It's like, and sometimes it makes me think like, one, in social media, you can never really tell if someone's fucking with you or not. Like they might be on the other side of the keyboard being like, I just say hot takes all fucking day. And look how many followers I have because some people believe this to be truth. But being around people like on a day-to-day, there are people that act like this. There are people who think like this that are just like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, what is up with this? And then, oh, right on time, we got T coming in the room too. So we can get him to chime in on this dialogue as well. But like I said, it's just like this shit is like super fucking bananas. It's unhealthy.
Toxic.
Yeah, it's just toxic, and it perpetuates that like the negative image of a lot of men as well. Because I also don't like that like all men are like this. And it's like, nah, you are so like far off base. Like a lot of us, like when we've talked about it on here, like we are all caring men and we are all fathers trying to raise our children in the best way possible so that they can be productive members and not be shitty people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Whereas like, I doubt that we all come home, you know, to tell someone to get me my slippers as they kick off my shoe and there better be fucking a beer in my hand and steak on the table. Like, what?
Yeah.
Number one, you drink a beer every day, you're an alcoholic. Two, you you eat steak every day, you're about to have a heart attack any minute. So relax.
Also, another thing before T starts talking, a lot of that masculinity stuff is like a mask to like just to take out and bash homophobia. They're straight up being homophobic. They're like, oh, you're not a man if you do this. Like the person that we refer to in our group chat, he often says a lot of stuff like homophobic stuff about people, and he calls them not masculine because they're doing things that they like to do. Like, and my whole thing is this: who cares what they do? What they do with their life is their life. And when you go out of your way to point that out and to shame people for living their life the way they want to live life, that's very homophobic. Like, hey,
and that's
why does it matter?
That's that sort of cyclical dialogue, because it's like how you were saying earlier. They're making comments on like, oh, people are so fragile, they can't take the truth anymore. But then it's like, but you're fragile because you can't let someone live in their truth.
Yeah.
So like, the fuck are you talking about? Or like, I think the comment I made was like, the guy was like talking about like politics, but he fucking like served himself in the politics, because it's like, you're just eating up this, like these statistics as if they were fact, without realizing that like, no, that's the perpetuation that, you know, the black man's not there for his family, that hip hop is not good for the community, when it's like, nah, it wasn't good for the community until record labels learned how to capitalize on it. Like,
exactly.
Then it was okay. So fucking relax. But T, you're on the scene. We're on What's Up With That. You know the combo. What's your 2 cents?
Oh, that I just now turned back to that conversation to see that he was still talking wild, reckless, and
man, now I gotta put swords. I told you.
I'm sure there's others like him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying names. I'm not giving hype. Now you guys send me the swords.
Oh, we'll talk sword beef on these fools.
Yes.
Well, you know, they still have to figure out his name. That's not actually his whole. As I look at it, that's not his entire name. But this dude just this dude and dudes like him are just oddly enough soft dudes who don't know no better.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to, you're not gonna talk reckless about me, because I'm my own black man, and I'm you're not gonna talk reckless about how I raise my family. You're gonna talk reckless about how I deal with my music or so forth and so on, my taste and so forth, and pretend shit's sweet, bro. I would not doubt if you looked into it that this dude is probably, I mean, yeah, he might be a real dude, but he might be some Russian bot just here to cause chaos.
Oh, I can confirm he's a real person. I know him very well. I've had conversations with him. He's been on my podcast for it. I won't put his stuff out there, but yeah, he's an actual person.
Man, then he's a terrible human being.
There you go. If there was ever an "Am I the asshole?" Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. Indeed, you are. You know,
I don't even need to hear the story.
In case you were wondering, yes, you are the asshole, and that's okay, buddy. Get your followers. I hope white people love you, because that's seemingly what you want. And there you go, buddy.
Really is on some Clayton Bigsby shit for sure. Yeah. And it's like, listen, man, when it comes down to brass tacks and it's between you or them, you better believe it ain't gonna be you.
It ain't gonna be you, buddy.
Yep.
0.
Settle down, Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen for you, buddy.
Yeah. Right. Hey, because they're coming for his wife right now too. She thought she was gonna be smooth. Nope.
Not at all.
But so I think to just kind of wrap up that portion though, like, just let people live. Like,
for sure, let people cook,
dick.
Man.
Like, if it's not harming your life, like if no one's like really like causing you like physical damage, you know, like, just let fucking people live. Like, it really isn't a thing. Like, I know, you know, people want it because they, you know, now they got a few more listeners, a few more subscribers, a few more followers, and it's like, just fictitious numbers, man. Like, just fucking let it go. And that shit is not fucking healthy. Like, it's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for society. And that's why we're stuck with where we are. And even with the most basic research, you're going to learn that a lot of facts are really, really skewed. So kind of just open your brain and open your ears a little bit. Like, that's really what it comes down to. So
I'm going to say something that I think is 100% true and honest and factual. If you are the type of person who gets offended by looking at other men dance and have fun and be flamboyant, that is not their problem. That is a you problem.
For sure.
100%.
That is your insecurities coming out, not them. They are out there living their life and having fun, and that bothers. It's almost like the SpongeBob and Squidward meme, where you see SpongeBob and Patrick outside having fun, and Squidward's in his house
in the blinds,
in the blind, looking mad. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, yo, let the people have fun and live their life.
Yeah. Yeah, because it just means you don't know how to have fun.
Yeah.
And again, that's a you thing. That's not a them thing, you know? So, anyways, stop being clowns, people. Stop being fucking clowns. Now, T, man, you've been on these streets. I'm glad you popped in.
Thank you. I'm glad I got to, man. My best friend from high school, his dad retired to of all places, Ohio. Look, you know I love Ohio. I would not retire here.
No, that when you said that, I did want to question, like, I did want to sound rude and say why exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. But you understand, right?
If anybody said why, yes, I'd let get that walk because you're the homeless. So. But it's because his dad's wife came up around these parts.
Okay.
And her dad is still with us, and so she wanted to be in his life, you know what I'm saying, as long as she can be.
Mm-hmm.
So they've retired to my neck of the woods. And he was visiting his pop and was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna come through this time. I'm gonna bring my son. If you want to link up, can we?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm down to see this guy. That's my dude, man."
Yeah.
And I if you heard me tell stories of my time in high school and my time in Georgia in general, I was very poor. I was like super poor. We got evicted from a home before and so forth. We were very, very poor. And this man's family held your boy down like steel. You know what I'm saying? They kept me fed and sometimes I slept over their house and so forth, you know, and so they held me down. It was just dope to see his old man and see my man as an adult, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, it really was. I hadn't seen him since he moved. For a moment, his dad lived in Pittsburgh, which is a couple hours away from Cleveland. And so he came and visited him there before. And so I saw him, and that was like 96. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't seen him since then. And so we kicked it, man. I went and collected him. We all went out to eat eat lunch. And then I just was like, all right, let's just roll. And we, came more around my neck of the woods as opposed to down there where his dad lives, and hung out with his son. I brought him through my house, let him introduce to my lady and my kids and so forth. And just dope, man. We just kicked it in these streets and went all around my little burg. And nice. I took him to some spots in Cleveland proper and took him out to eat and shit, you know what I'm saying? Just doing some old reconnected, man. It's just it was a very, very dope time, man. And I love it. And I love him. And it's weird to not miss a beat with a plus 20 year gap, but not miss a beat.
But you know what? I was just about to say, is there something really like beautiful about that? Because like I have like two friends that one of them I've known since like fourth grade.
Yeah.
And that's like when we moved from like the LA area to Ventura County. And so is my buddy Jim. And it's one of those things like we can go a few years without talking. And there's no like fallout or anything, but it's those things of like you pick up right where you left off. The conversation is like right there, and just talk about lives and families and memories and shit like that. And it's like it's those like fits like a glove moment where you're just like, yeah, this is comfortable, yeah. Like I get to talk to my friend again, and it's like that shit is kind of like tight,
Sure. And it really was, man. I got in there for once, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, he had a car, so he drove me around and kept me fed. Tonight I got to drive around. Tonight I fed him on my dime. You feel me? Nice. And I was that's like real hype, and I fucking really loved it. So he'll be here for a little bit longer. And so he's like, man, we're gonna go to Rock Hall Thursday. You trying to? I'm like, look, I gotta go back I gotta get back on the job, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, when y'all get done, just come through, you know what I'm saying? It's because you'll be relatively close to me if you're going to the Rock Hall. And we'll BS one more time before you head on out, So
yeah,
it's good shit, man. I truly a pleasure to have that occur and dig it, man.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
Now, something I've always wanted to ask you, and I don't know why I always forget. Do you eat that fucking what is it? The 5-way spaghetti?
No, that's Cincinnati, dog. Wrong city. Other end of the state.
I mean, it's Ohio. I don't know how big Ohio
Nigga,
is.
that's not Don't do that to me. Don't put that on my shoulders, baby.
In my mind, Ohio is only like 4 miles around.
Nah. Yeah, that's some Cincinnati heads, man, which is about 4 to 5 hours south of here.
Okay.
and that's not any of our vibe.
That's not what you guys do,
Nobody trying to put some sweet chili on spaghetti.
right? I mean, it sounds wild. So you're saying you haven't tried it?
No, one, I don't eat red meat, so I'm definitely not, you know what I'm saying, about to do that.
Uh-huh.
And
I, funny enough, have tried it.
Word?
there you go. Talk to over here clowning your mans. You got a whole
I
experience
wasn't
right
clowning.
there.
I want to fucking try it. I mean, it sounds crazy.
I tried it. I want to say I was a kid. I had to be like 10 years old or something like that. My mom, and this goes into this, so tell me, I'm not gonna get too detailed
Hold
on
on,
it.
shut up, man. You about to tell me you ate a cold can of beefaroni? Stop
No,
it.
no. My mom, when she was dating guys and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
well, I guess one of the guys must have been from that area because that's how he would make his spaghetti.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't like I would rather have regular spaghetti than that. It was like, oh,
there's some chili ass spaghetti.
yeah, it was like, oh, this is the thing. But okay, this is how you make it. But it wasn't bad. I thought it was okay. But if you were to tell me, hey, you can have this or regular spaghetti, 9 times I'm like, give me regular spaghetti. Why are you making this?
Ain't no weirdo.
Yeah, this is like substitute spaghetti. Like
Substitute spaghetti.
like our spaghetti's out for the day, but you can have this substitute spaghetti. Like, all right.
That's the spaghetti that's just like, listen, I got pasta and I got leftover chili.
Yeah.
So
See, that's the problem. In your mind, you have a thought process or an idea of what chili is. It's not that kind of chili, guy.
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen like a bunch of shows. It's just like meat sauce.
It's a
Right.
meat, but it's also a sweet meat sauce.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Chill.
Saying so, I'm saying that's
I
some
don't know about
gar all over that.
sweet
You saying no, thank you, sir. Don't sprinkle that sugar on my shit.
Now, what's
Yeah.
in your region, T? Like, what's the food? Like, what's the local thing then?
So up here, actually, oddly enough, it goes a couple different ways. We have a lot of Eastern European people. A huge Eastern European community used to call this area home. So we have, in one situation, pierogi. Pierogi's huge up here. You know what I'm saying, but also on the flip of that, we have a family that unfortunately, because of their father passed away, they are kind of all separate now. We have a chain. We had a chain of restaurants called Hot Sauce Williams.
Okay.
And Hot Sauce Williams would hustle po' boys.
Okay.
And no, Polish is what they call them shits. So giant sausage with a specific style of barbecue sauce, coleslaw, and French fries on it.
Dang.
Called a Polish boy, or just a Polish, depending on what set you're playing. And that was what, you know what I'm saying, Hot Sauce Williams was famous for. You know what I'm saying? And so, but like I said, once Mr. Williams himself passed away, his children, his progeny was just like, oh, I want to do it this way. And so one was split off, and then another split off. So basically, it's like 3 different restaurants now, and I don't think any of them rock the Hot Sauce Williams name any longer.
Okay.
So that's basically our black and our whites experiences of food in this neck of the woods. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of like Eastern European kind of vibes if you are if you are in a specific area, and then if not, like I said, got a little more still Eastern European influence, because the sausage is definitely of it's literally called Polish. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just prominent. Like taking what they have and hooking it back up. So yeah.
Interesting.
You'd eat good here, bro. I'd feed you well just cause.
I mean,
put you on the game, and you'd be like, okay, I can get down with this.
I mean,
we have like a bunch of arepas places, which I think is, I'm gonna say maybe Venezuela, maybe Colombian.
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah. Arepas are good. They're so good.
Arepas are delicious.
Yeah, so we got several of those restaurants in my neck of the woods. You know what I'm saying? So not even like we got to go far. Like literally, we could walk to one just on the corner up here. And we got it's like food trucks. We got a decent food truck scene, decent enough. It ain't that Cali food truck scene, you know, where basically where I feel like the shit was founded, you know, but it's got a vibe. So,
and then you got like a Puerto Rican community too, right?
Huge. Yeah. I got a bunch of Puerto Rican cats I get down with, but I feel like they haven't made their mark food wise in the city. You know what I'm saying? That's going to somebody's house and getting some, you know, those and gandules and them with them pigeon peas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's more going to somebody's crib. I'm saying, your mom making them Making them rice and beans. Okay, hook your boy up.
Oh, but you don't eat.
Oh,
the
because she make it
bananas.
with the chicken, right? Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah,
See?
that's the good stuff right there. But you don't have the bananas though, huh?
No, I don't like bananas, and I can't eat plantains because they make my tongue itch.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you're allergic. Damn,
Yeah.
That hurts. That hurts. That hurts, man. But yeah, I mean, and that's always a big reason to travel too, is like to try the new food spots. Like, okay, what you guys got over here? What's your different flair? What's your different style? The one thing I don't do is outside of California is try to eat at Mexican food places because they be trying to serve ketchup as red sauce, and I'm like, what are you doing with your life?
Long as they are at least Mexican,
Yeah.
you be all right.
Well, and that was gonna be my next comment though too, is that one thing I do know is we are everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes.
From your fast food spot to your high-end restaurants, you best believe there's a Mexican cooking it. Just know. Your
Very
seafood
true.
spot,
You be
guess who's
seeing
cutting
cats,
that-
you be like, "Hey man, but you look Belizean.
Yeah.
You sure you might be claiming Mexican, but I don't think you're from there, bro."
You know what? But once you get far enough away from the borders, they're just like, listen, whatever, it's all the same. Now, T, just to do a quick recap, what you been up to, man? Aside from kicking it with your homie.
Bro, it's been it has not been a busy time actually. It'd been wild snowy here since the last time we spoke, and in a way that's like, okay, we ain't going nowhere. And bro, like I'm looking at the front of my car, right, and like the lip must have got caught on the snow,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of pulled down. This, I'm like, oh my god, my car is only a year old, and I'm super salty because I might have to replace that whole front end.
Are you fucking for real? Because
That
of the snow.
sucks.
Because the way the snow caught the lip of it and snatched down on it.
Damn.
And I'm like, bruh, if I got to replace this whole front end, I definitely got to replace the under grill situation.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm like, that whole front bumper might have to come off, man. I'm
That's
just like,
bullshit, dude.
it really is. So
Eee.
your man's not too happy about that, but it is what it is, man. Family's good, kids is good, bro. I've been on my video game nonsense, which is like what I want to holler about, man. I finished Ratchet and Clank.
Mhm.
Actually, since the last time we spoke, I finished
3 games.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Zero Dawn. You finished it. What do you
Yeah.
think?
One took me 5 years and 5 starts and stops of playing that game for me to finally get his hooks in me and me to get to the story where I'm like, oh, okay, we doing that. So
Yeah.
I was like,
It
okay.
took a minute, and then once the story kicks, and it's like, I understand.
Yeah. So that actually ended up being real good. So I beat that one too, and I beat Death's Door, bruh.
Yeah.
And didn't just beat Death's Door. I even went back and got the secret ending to Death's Door.
Oh shit.
That's
And
cool.
That was one of the most challenging games I've played in years. And the fact that the story kept me involved, and I knew the mistake, I knew the dying I was doing, or the things that happened were my mistakes, my errors, me not rolling right at the right time and coming back and hitting, or me not being all the way leveled up enough to get it done. And I'm not one of them Dark Souls kind of dudes who's like, you should, whatever. I'm just not my style of game.
Yeah.
But something about this, man, got it in me, man. And I played that bad boy. There are 4 achievements left, and none of them which I'm like, no thank you. One of them is to beat the whole game with just the umbrella.
Yeah.
One of them,
So you just like tipped your hat. You're like, I'm good.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and 2 of them, I should have done stuff when I was fighting these bosses.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, I didn't know that, and so
Yeah.
those 2 L's I have to take.
That
And then the
moment
last one is you got those other 3. So
Okay.
I'm like, cool, delete that game right off the hard drive. It's like, I'm not going back to this. It was an amazing time. I'm proud of myself for beating it. Because like I said, if you play Death's Door, it's on everything now.
Yeah.
But in particular, it's on Game Pass. If you are a Game Pass subscriber, then you can be like, you can mess around and see it yourself, and I think you will feel like, wow, this is way more challenging than expected,
Mhm.
but it's also way dope. Great
Yeah.
graphics, a fun story, an interesting tale, and I had a good time with that one. It's like one of the ones I'm proud I beat. It's like, okay, did the
Well,
thing
there's-
on that, man.
Just like the little that I've played, and I've still yet actually my gaming, just because of work and being really tired. Like,
Yeah,
I think there were like 2 smooth weeks that I didn't play anything, where it was like, you get those moments you turn on the console and it's like, and right off. Like, I don't have, turn on the PlayStation. I'm like, no. Xbox, no. Switch, no. And then I'm like, I'm gonna watch the cooking channel. Like I don't have the fucking energy to do this. But there's something magical about Death's Door. Like I think it looks great.
Yeah.
The whole aesthetic of it is just really, really appealing. And though it's very frustrating, it's like visually soothing in a way. Like the art style, they did a great job. So I am looking forward to like dipping back into that because I was playing it on my phone using the
Yeah, you
backbone.
played it with the backbone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's really awesome. Also, like if you play that bitch on I played on the Xbox Series S.
Yeah.
So last gen, it looks terrible. Like
Really?
it does not look good. It looks
Wow.
like I'm playing that fucking shit on a CRT. Like it's not
Wow.
good.
Didn't
Like,
expect that.
Yeah. And especially
Truly,
on the S, which is like usually, the step up.
Yeah.
No. Like I play fucking Forza. That shit's beautiful.
Yeah.
I played Death Door. I was like, why is it like what happened? It looks really bad.
That is so. I didn't think of it as anything graphically intense.
Right.
There's some good reflection work they do.
Mhm.
So that I don't know if it's ray tracer or if it's just like local screen space like type stuff. But I mean, it looks like I said, it does look nice.
Yeah.
But who would ever thought, man?
Yeah.
Well, it's on
same here.
Switch. It's on Switch. I believe it's on PlayStation now. It's like $20 on Steam and so
Mhm.
forth. And again, like I said,
Yeah.
if you have a Game Pass subscription, it's waiting on you and your as a part of your subscription. So you can go get down right there. I really, 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 really get down with that game. That was a Chalfie recommendation.
Mhm.
He said he had been playing on that backbone last time we had spoke, and I was like, and I saw that it showed back up on Game Pass. And I was like, man,
Well,
Chalfie said,
fuck it, why not?
let me get in here. Then I come to Chalfie for advice. He's like, man, you further than I am. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I got T sending me videos on shit like 10 levels ahead. I'm like, hey man, I'm still way back here. But I stopped at a point where I knew it was fairly new into that level that I was like,
Yeah.
I can pick it up from here and still move forward and not go like, okay, was it 2 lefts and a right? And it was just like I could stop at this point. So I'll get back into it for sure. Ratchet and Clank, though, I know you took a pause on that, and so here you jump back
And
in.
And I was so close to the end of that. As it turns out, I probably could have just ran through it. It was fun. It is beautiful, like everybody says it is. Story is fine. It's a fine game. For up until I guess Horizon, it was the standard bearer of the new Horizon. Forgive me, was the standard bearer for graphics on the PlayStation 5. So I kind of like, if you are graphics like if that's your Bob, maybe you want to get it for that. But it was a good game.
Because it's fun. It's just you blow shit up.
Yeah.
But I would say for the first quarter of the game, it's stunning. Like when you do the pool, you're kind of like warping or just noticing like the ray trace, the shot, like all that shit is like, it's phenomenal. But after a while, all the shine falls to the background, and then you're just like, okay, now I'm just playing a game where I just shoot and smack.
Ratchet and Clank game.
What impressed me the most the entire time through was the use of particle effects. There's so many particles just flying off of things.
Yeah, and then it's like sputter.
Never once does it slow down or stutter or anything. It just keeps going. So I ended up there's a way you can go in there and select what you want to. You want it to be little nuts and bolts, sure, but they also gave me the option to make it all coins. So I just made it all coins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That's tight. I did not know.
Yeah, man. I have owned Cyberpunk 2077 since pretty much the day it came out because I was like, oh, they're going to have this next gen update, no time flat.
Yeah.
I'll just own it and be ready for that to go down. You know what I'm saying? And 1 year plus a couple of months later, they finally dropped 1.5, which is the next gen update. And I started that yesterday, and Vanessa's sitting there like, do this. I'm like, anyway. So I make my character. I get through like the tutorial and stuff like that there. And I was like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I was telling Delvin earlier, I got a game plan in play where did you pick up Horizon New Dawn?
Not yet. No, I hadn't got Forbidden West yet.
Why am I saying New Dawn? The fuck
It's just on your mind. I have not grabbed Forbidden West yet.
Forbidden West. Yeah, because New Dawn was Far Cry. We were talking about that too.
Yes.
Yeah, Forbidden West. So I'm gonna play that. Then I'm gonna play the Can I game, and then I'll play Cyberpunk. I do have Cyberpunk saved, but what I need to do too is delete my old save
Okay.
and then just start like on a
You gonna
fresh.
start from scratch?
Yeah, because I also wasn't like super. I was maybe like 2 hours in, 3 hours
Okay.
in, but
Okay.
it's enough for me to forget what it was.
Yeah.
And I was playing beautifully, like, or I was like, hey, I'm experiencing these problems. And then all of a sudden, like, wild shit started happening where it was like cars just landing on my head, people with like half bodies, like, like all the crazy shit you would see on the internet. I was like, never happened. And then all of a sudden, it was like every time I played, it happened. Driving and my car would explode. And I was like, I was just on the road. Like,
But of course, that PlayStation version was extra susceptible to bugs, which is why they ended up pulling it from the store.
yeah,
It was just bad.
yeah.
Just a generally bad build of that game. And so I bought it on, like I said, on Xbox.
Mhm.
Like I said, because I knew it entitled me to get the Xbox, the Series X update whenever it did come.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it just sat on the shelf this whole time waiting. And it's my time, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So,
or not, because if I don't like it, they just dropped that Ricky mode for Metroid Dread, and I
mhm.
still ain't really played through that. I own it, but I'll just jump on that and play through that instead.
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap up the dialogue, this is guaranteed an episode that my wife won't be listening to because we started talking games a long time, like in the beginning, and,
Yeah.
and then we're bringing it back again. So I guarantee she's said "oh brother" at least 6 times, rolled her eyes, probably said still talking about games. But you know, aside from my wife's feedback, I would love to hear feedback from you guys, the listeners, you know, just to kind of touch base with us, kind of, you know, let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, you know, just to comment back. If you're a listener like me, and you know, you listen to these podcasts and you talk out loud as I do, for example, on Stace Crunchy Milk's latest episode, when T talked about his neighbors shoveling his lawn and they were young guys, I was like, one of them is that fucking thief. And so, and so then when he talked about it, I was like, oh shit, it was. So, you know, I want to hear that feedback from you guys too. You know, give us all that business, the like and subscribe, hit us with the reviews on, you know, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to us. But just in general, you know, hit us up on Twitter, Cadillac on Mars. You can hit us up on Instagram at Cadillac on Mars as well. Give us a follow, give us a listen, give us a subscribe, tell your friends. But yeah, just in general, hit us with the feedback. Just want to know what you guys are thinking as listeners. Kind of going around the room. Delvin, what you got on tap?
I'm just same old in terms of everything, you know, got working on play some video games, which is normal, I guess. It's a dope episode.
They did a
We
really
did.
good episode of Play Some Video Games because it had no white people.
Yes.
And it had 2 new and I wanted to talk about this too. Okay, we're going to table it for the next conversation because I was about to say two different new African American podcasters, but we need to discuss African American and other tag names. So we'll save that for the next conversation.
Okay. That's a good conversation to have.
And then,
Yeah.
but so yeah, that was a really, really good episode.
Yeah, I did that episode, and I also had an episode of the Delvin Cox Experience where I sat down with Mike from What Up Doe Podcast, Otis from What Up Doe Podcast, Country Boy from the Black History Podcast, and Mikey Famine from 1001 Podcast that he does. I think he does Dig on America and stuff like that. We had a conversation about Black culture and a lot of different things that matter to Black men in general. And that was a dope conversation as well. But that's the main things I've been doing lately, man. It's just
No, that was a good combo for sure.
Respect on him, man.
Yeah. And then T, what about you?
So Stay Stretch Milk every week, every Thursday. You know what I'm saying? We do pretty well. We have been doing what I told you guys eventually I wanted to do, and that is rolling out at least one M of the asshole and putting it up on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
We do decent numbers enough over there. And
Nice.
so I'm like, okay, that's solid. I get down with that. So if you wonder what we all look like and want to hear us rattle off an M of the asshole, again, they're available now. Not always. Well, yeah, so far we kind of got a plan now. We kind of got a system. Vanessa edits for me, and
Nice.
she was like, hey, if you could do this for me, it would make it so much easier for me to edit it. And so we've been abiding by that, and it has been so far, it works.
Now, do
So-
you guys purposefully do the video with like the sexy dark mood lighting?
No, so you know me. I'm saying I put a pretty bright key light for my situation, right? Gabe, who depending on where he's at the time, might not have any lights at all. I bought Box a fill light just last week. I used the Patreon dough to buy him a light, so he now has a light. And in fact, he sent us a picture with it. I'm like, there we go. That's gonna look good. And Ant just kind of keeps the dark going. But I said specifically asked me, hey, make sure a box gets brightened up. It's easier for me to edit. And I was like, I got you. And I got him a proper fill light, so he should be looking real crisp this week. And so that will probably go up with it will go up with next. So the process is we record on Thursdays. New shows go up on Thursday, so it just kind of rotates. So whatever show you heard that week on Thursday, the Am of the Asshole should go up that following Friday.
Okay.
And as long as it works like it should, you know what I'm saying? So the episode's out already, and I put up there, hey, this is an excerpt from this episode of this show. And if you want to get down and hear the rest of it, come over around my way. And so far that process has been working, and I like it. So
last week's Thursday, Am I the Asshole will be this upcoming Friday's TikTok. Am I the Asshole?
Last week's Am I the Asshole came out actually Saturday because something hiccup in when I go to pull the file to go upload it, it said the file was 9 hours long.
Oh shit!
And I was like, babe, something wrong with this file, so she had to re-export it and do some work to it. So the Am of the Asshole that you heard last week about a guy working at a company talking about he was 40 years old with a 24-year-old employee.
Oh, he called her bitch?
Yes, he called a bitch, and I'm just like, that is the most recent one that went up on TikTok as well.
Okay.
Dope.
Yeah. So just to any listeners, check out their shows as well. Great content, great conversations over there. So as we sign off, well, I guess since I'm critiquing shows too, Delvin, and this goes to you and Mike Fowler. Hey, you guys want to not have like a 3-minute long intro fucking music to your podcast? That shit is way long. Like, nah. I know you guys paid for the music, but I'm like, fuck, I'm already halfway to work. I just barely got to your intro music.
Nah.
God damn, man. Hey, like 30 seconds, please. I'm like, wow, I got the extended mega mix on the fucking, like, where it's a single side on a full LP. You know?
That intro be slapping. I'm with you, Fowler.
Now, fuck both of you guys. That shit is way too long. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. Fuck Mike Fowler again. I'm Chelsea. We got T. Delvin's in the house. We're actually all in 1 Cadillac, not 2. We out of here. Peace.
2 Cadillacs.
Shut up.
What you say, Grandma? Mama.
What?
What you say?
Grandma's not here.